You have now entered the championship mindset. I want you to join us on a journey of excellence, let go of your fears, and reach the best you. That's what we're doing on a daily basis, and that's the championship mindset. That's the essence. Welcome back to Championship Culture. I have learned so much from the feedback and the comments and some of the questions that I'm getting from listeners and followers who are understanding that this is a path forward that is easily accessible. Waking up with that goal-driven mindset, waking up with that ability to take things as they come and learn as a path to greatness, as a path to happiness, as a path to growth is something that keeps me going. So I want to continue for this show and this podcast to be a conversation that we're having. I am still learning and I improve every day. I have mistakes that I have to learn from. So I want us to first start off by understanding that perfection is not a standard. Perfection is a concept. The standard should be attainable for you. The standard should be something that keeps you going, that keeps you motivated. The standard should not be an impossibility. This understanding is very much woven into finding your purpose. And I think it's really difficult to have a championship mindset without purpose. The whole idea is that you're waking up motivated. The whole idea is that you're waking up impassioned to take all the action necessary to reach a goal and to have the fortitude and the skills and the support to make it through the tough times and to get over the obstacles and to fight through the challenges so that you can have that experience of achievement, but also understanding that the achievement is not the motivator. The achievement is a barometer for your growth. The achievement is a carrot, is a treat, is it's something that marks where you've come from to capture your imagination and to get there and kind of hold that for a moment, to hold everything that you dreamed of for a moment as a way to inspire you to do it again. So I want to talk a little bit about how finding purpose, it's very important, but it's something that takes a lot of work to find that thing in you that moves you. And I think it's a very existential question. It's a very personal question between who you are and the circumstances of your life that you find yourself in. I think things like our character, things like our nature, tend to be nurtured in a way that kind of sets our foundation. So, having a background in psychology as an undergrad and kind of moving into the realm of education for my master's, I really tend to think about behavior as an example of what's going on in somebody's heart and mind. Now it's difficult to do that with 100% accuracy because people mask their behaviors. People don't always understand their behavior, so they can feel and want a different outcome, but behave a certain way. So it really takes an ability to, understand all the dynamics that are at play in your world, in the way that you think, in your schema, in your paradigm, so that you can kind of see where you are and start in the place at the starting line that you find yourself in, because that's going to kind of generate that goal. It's going to generate that, hey, I'm starting here, and this next space of improvement for me is right over this horizon, and I may not be able to see it, but I know the direction it's in. I know once I get there, I will taste a fulfillment that prompts me to move. So for me, that's like, why am I here? For us, for those that are really trying to find motivation, it starts with, why are you here? And we tend to get that story placed upon us. We tend to get that um, uh, the progenitor of our goals are usually placed upon us by our structures, our parental structures, our friends and social structures, our societal structures, tend to let us know what to value and what they value and what the world is going to value in you. And that tends to be our first steps towards goal achievement. Now, a goal achieved needs to be individually defined for it to bring that happiness. So people can accomplish all types of things in their life and still lack that sense of joy and fulfillment. So I want us to really understand what the goal is. The goal is greatness in a way that's defined both objectively and subjectively. And this dualism has to find congruence in our life. This understanding that I can live just for me and my own happiness, but this greater concept of fulfillment is shared. All happiness is kind of fleeting unless it's shared, unless you can kind of make that connection to make an emotion real. We are social beings, so we have to kind of make this understanding for where our motivation started, where they're going, and how to find that independent thinking and inquiry placed to the backdrop of society and realities that are shared, that will require us to know and manipulate and understand so that we can find harmony and harmony in your life, harmony in your heart, harmony in your mind and your spirituality is the worthy venture. That is the goal. So as you find out that you can achieve that art through a multiple of mediums, then it just becomes the challenge of understanding your relationship. Where do I find, where does that work for me? Where I find my relationship and the way I can articulate it, because these universal concepts have to be spoken and communicated in a way that you can let somebody know what you think and how you feel and how you've made that connection, in a way that it can be interpreted by that social network, by your friend, by your family, so they can invalue you and they can gain value from you. As you do the same thing, as people share their understanding with you and you make that interpretation and share that action back out with the world. And you know this to be very real and logical, where you can learn kindness, where you can learn compassion, you can learn a skill and have the impulse to use that skill to help yourself and others, and the feeling that comes with that, the personal gratification that comes with taking knowledge and applying it, and the profound experience of giving that knowledge to somebody else, giving that production, giving that art, giving that piece of information that is going to completely change somebody else's life for the better. Those are the two dynamics that really kind of move a person to act. And you can have it in the negative as well. You can learn a behavior that, as it filters through you and you take that understanding and apply, a pain, a vice, a treachery, something that is going to, satisfy an immediate kind of id need, and the lack of gratification that comes with that. Especially as people think I can only the goal is to do for me only, and you end up harming your outer world. There's a pain that comes with that as well. So, you have to find a purpose that is built on peace. How do I move things around in my world, in my space, to find peace? And for me, that speaks through a couple of different religious backgrounds. Religion, soft R, because I like to, when in a search for wisdom, you really can't stop in orthodoxy. You really can't stop in dogma. You want to take all of the beauty of a message, and be able to apply the big T truth in that message, without finding a incongruence that you have to that takes contrivement to reintegrate into harmony. So in a lot of religions, if I give you all the message and tell you that there's an aspect of this that is, maybe wrong, maybe it's been disproven, you would have to have a cognitive dissonance and say, you know what, I'm not going to accept that because I claim to be this. Hey, me calling myself this religion is such a part of my upbringing that now that I'm thinking, and experience things that make me think a different way, I have to shut those things out because that will, change who I am or who I think I am. So we have this internal, like, how do I define, my space in the world? Why am I here? Why does anything that I do matter? And that's, I think, a big question that keeps people in bed, keeps people, lethargic, keeps people in a constant state of procrastination, because they don't understand how much the world needs them. They don't understand how much this continuum of beauty in the world can be stifled. They don't understand that life is a struggle that ends and as it's just beginning. That's the tragedy of young potential and the tragedy of a goal, of a person not reaching that next destination, is the exponential beauty that comes with our power, with our purpose, with our ability to take the input, channel it, and that expression be something completely different that the world has never seen, that people needed in order to find harmony and beauty in their own life. And we are a piece of it. We are a chord in that music. And if we stop playing, the music can stop. The music will stop. So just you waking up with purpose is a value. Just you being here is a potential value. That is the divinity in us. And you have to find that. You have to understand that we have that power, and unused power, there's no value in the waste. This is why you have to play the game. You have got to fight for yourself. You have got to fight for that greatness in yourself. And it's not okay to say that that you don't have purpose. That is a problem to be addressed. That is a thing that people that love you should not accept, that you are going to waste, that you are going to not engage in who you can be, because you are the only one that can leave that in the world. So when you wake up and when you're in that search for how to move forward, understand that every action that's based in compassion, harmony, understanding, learning is going to reverberate throughout the people that interact with you and the spaces that interact with you, and is going to return in a way that enlightens you, that furthers you. So find purpose in the people and things and the situations around you that can spark energy. So you don't have to seek. If you can't find, you don't have to seek far in order to find a spark of purpose. It's in the little things, and it's in the larger things. It's in the nature, and it's in the things that we create. It's in the literature. It's in the visual performance art. And the first action can be looking. If you look for purpose, you will find it. If you are waiting for motivation to hit you, I think you are counter to the championship culture, and you will find yourself in spaces and situations that you are out of control in determining, that you become victim to, that you become comfortable in eventually, in a way that is harmful to your potential. And if you see that first, if you see that your potential is inherently divine, then that may spark you to look. That may spark you to seek. So as you wake up with purpose, as you look for purpose, I can tell you where I found it. It was in this universal concept, this unitary theory. My latest book, and it was my first nonfiction, my first kind of, I guess it would be self-help, like spiritual self-help. It was based on 3 concepts: the Vedic principles of Hinduism, and this understanding of our individuality as a connected component to the oneness. And you find these principles being validated in current thought. There's, some of the oldest scripts of the Vedic, the Vedas, as they call them, being completely validated in modern science and quantum theory, and where, logical thought, when you think of science, logical thought is going, in the amount of time that we and the universe has been here, how large, if you're thinking about light speed, is not a measure of speed, it's a measure of distance. And the rings upon rings that are explained in the Vedas really help you understand both the insignificance of it all, when you talk about a life, and the significance that in all that space and distance, we have a consciousness to enable. We have an understanding and an ability to perceive this fantastic world. So the Vedas are an awesome text to get started with understanding. The next would be this principle of ma'at, and this Egyptian Kemetic philosophy that guides people's actions within a society, within a civilization. This understanding that our nature is communal, our nature is divine, but our nature is also earthly. So being in a harmonious relationship with the people around us and the things around us as a path to spiritual refinement is something that, if you study the 42 laws of Ma'at and engage in that practice, you'll immediately start to understand purpose in a different way as you have those positive interactions and experience that gratification. And that can be a type of small goal, is how do I have better interactions with people? You'll find that to be very motivating if you find yourself isolated and not having that companionship. Just a search for a greater and more meaningful companionship can definitely be a life goal. It can definitely be something that moves you forward. And lastly, but not less insignificant, is Tao and the Taoism of Eastern philosophy. and you might look at, the concept of yin and yang as something that is like kind of establishes this conflict and this dualism, until you really start to dive into the teachings of Lao Tzu and the Tao Te Ching, and it really kind of breaks down that it's a perception of dualism that is just that this change and this constant flow is something that, as you recognize in a moment, may be negative or positive, but as you find the harmony of those changes, you'll find is part of the oneness that everything is describing, that it's impossible to escape this connection between all things. So my book, The Wisdom of All Good Books, really speaks to this idea that anytime you're getting input or expressing output, and it's kind of hitting that nerve of big T truth or small T truth as a pathway towards that universal understanding, it's going to be woven through these common experiences and this oral tradition. And now that we have technology, you see these same concepts in all your good movies and your books and your content as some type of media, art, literature is able to hit that thing that's already in you, this power that's already in you, that something just sparks a realization back to. So purpose is kind of found in this existential understanding of how things connect back to me and how. Get in the chat, ask questions. I appreciate you guys. Have a great day. Be your best self. Be a champion.